Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And we're back for another episode of the show, and it is Friday, which means, well, the fact that it's Friday doesn't mean that I forgot to post the Ask Me Anything threads earlier in the week, but yeah, I kind of forgot to post the Ask Me Anything threads earlier this week, and that means that on this Ask Me Anything episode, I don't have any questions to answer because someone was a bad radio host. And that someone would be me. Now, before I jump into some rants, if you will, let me say that I don't know what happened over the last couple of weeks, but I did notice that the music levels were higher than normal. And then when I went to record the show just a couple of minutes ago is when I started recording because, well, we're about a minute 45 into the actual recording of the show. I noticed that the adjuster, the sound adjuster, was turned up for the music. So rather weird. Don't know how that happened, but if over the last couple of weeks, and luckily nobody complained about this, but if you notice that the music was louder than normal in the intros and outros, then that would be why. So hopefully everything is normal now. And by normal, I mean the way that it should be, not that anything is ever really normal, because as they say, normal is relative, but none of my relatives are normal. Now, let me actually, I'll just go ahead and start complaining here for a moment. And, well, this complaint has to do with a particular Bitcoin cryptocurrency business that, well, I've actually been using their services for the past several years, probably going on 6 years by now. And I had recommended them to people previously for various things, but no more. And I know that there have been previous times when I've gotten upset with this particular business over various business decisions, but I've always sort of, gone back to them because they do a good job, asterisks, mostly for what they do, which is to help make it easier for people to buy and sell cryptocurrency. However, I just recently got a breakup letter from Coinbase. And one of the worst parts about this is they did not tell me why they sent me the Dear John letter. So yesterday I wound up having to spend the better part of an afternoon changing some stuff on multiple websites, not just changing stuff on one or two, but changing things on multiple websites because, well, I was using Coinbase and their merchant services for various things for a couple of different businesses and other ventures. Had to completely redo a bunch of stuff. Took me a lot longer than I wanted to spend on this. So the rant here is, I'm never going to recommend Coinbase to anybody ever again. I've known several people who had previously had their accounts terminated with Coinbase because even though Coinbase says that at the upper limit you're authorized to buy or sell up to like $10,000 worth of crypto per day, they don't actually mean that they want you to do that. And so I've known people that they were doing that, and Coinbase shut them down For me, I have no clue why. I wasn't doing large amounts of transactions. I was maybe doing like 1 or 2 transactions per month. And again, not, by any stretch of the imagination, a large transaction, but they wound up breaking up with me anyway, saying that after some kind of review of the account, they have determined something, I've got to close my accounts within 5 days. And the worst part, other than having to spend an entire afternoon doing some web design, when I went to log into one of my business accounts, for some reason, it said that I had to wait 48 hours to actually be able to log into that account. So that means that sometime over the weekend, after the 48 hours has passed, then I will hopefully be able to log into the account and see if I have any funds in there that I need to move to a different cryptocurrency wallet. So with that, let me give the advice. If you are going to accept cryptocurrency for a business, do not use Coinbase if you need a point of sale. There are other options for online merchants. The one that I use for free press publications at fpp.cc through the online store is coinpayments.net. And I would recommend them because I've not heard any people saying that they have had any issues with coinpayments.net shutting down their business. If you are an actual merchant with a brick and mortar location, I would recommend using anypay.global. Again, coinpayments.net, great for online merchants. However, they don't have a good retail point of sale. Anypay.global has a retail point of sale, but they don't offer online solutions. There might be others out there that I am not aware of, but those are my recommendations. And if you have Coinbase, get far, far away as fast as humanly possible. And yes, I know that it makes the buying and the selling of the crypto into US dollars a little more difficult, but Coinbase is not your friend. Repeat after me, Coinbase is not your friend. One more time, Coinbase is not your friend. Now, I actually need to look to see if any of the ads that I have running or scheduled to run during this show are from them so that I can remove them. Stay tuned. There's more.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
This is Will Coley of the Call to Freedom, and you're listening to Darryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. And after a quick search of the ads that are scheduled to run, I noticed while I do have a couple of ad files that do have Coinbase in them, I have some time to remove them because that set of let me pause here to explain what exactly I'm talking about. So if you heard the first segment, you know that I'm not happy with Coinbase because they broke up with me. And now I am talking about the ads that run during the show. So I have 3 different ad breaks, and I have 3 different sets of ads that rotate. And I rotate what set goes in what spot. So basically, there are a bunch of different combinations of how ads can go. And of the hunk of ads that would normally be in rotation, where Coinbase would be in that rotation, I'm currently running an ad for the Innocence Project, specifically for the New York City Marathon that I am running in November as a member of Team Innocence Project. So I've got a couple of months before I need to actually goof with some ads, so I'm good there. Which now, that leads me into actually being able to talk about the New York City Marathon, because it's getting close. We're 3 months and 1 day away. November 4th is the day, and it's currently August 3rd. So August, September, October, November, 3 months, 1 day away from the New York City Marathon. Yesterday, I made my selection for transportation to the start line and what option I would take as far as, will I be checking a bag or will I be getting that sweet, sweet post-race poncho? Guess what I went for? Yeah. I want that sweet, sweet post-race poncho because, well, I don't know if I'll ever have a chance to run the New York City Marathon again, and I want to make sure that I get some New York City memorabilia in addition to the finisher's medal. And I'm still trying to figure out the logistics of if I will be able to get my time engraved on said finisher's medal in New York City, or if I might have to wind up getting somebody that I know here in New Hampshire to wind up doing the engraving for me, because while there is metal engraving offered the day after the race in New York City, I also have to catch a train or a bus. I forget what mode of transport I have coming back from New York City. I've purchased both, and this is going to sound rather weird, I purchased both a Greyhound ticket and an Amtrak ticket, and I forget which one of those I'm actually using. The one I had purchased and then realized, oh, wait, no, the Marathon Monday thing, and then purchased the other, and I think it's the Amtrak that I'm taking coming back, but the bus ticket I bought as part of a round trip before remembering that Marathon Monday was a thing. And then I wanted to go to that and be able to, again, buy some, finisher's gear and then get a copy of the New York Times because, the New York Times on the Monday after the race, they wind up posting a bunch of the results, which means that my name will be in the New York Times, and it may have been in previously. I don't know, but I do know that the Monday after the New York City Marathon, my name will be in the New York Times, asterisk, assuming I'm in, the Fast Enough group, and based on what the sort of cutoff has been the last several years, and there's actually a list that you can find online, I should wind up being in that group that does get put in the New York Times. Again, things can change. Hopefully, nothing serious happens to where I wind up being slower by very much slower than I'm expecting. I'm shooting for a 4-hour, 15-minute finish, which would be an 18-minute improvement over the marathon that I did in December of last year. And there's a couple of major differences between those races. So the first marathon that I did was in northern Maine in December, where it was very cold, and there was a lot of elevation gain. The New York City race is a lot flatter. It's not as late in the year, and it should not be as cold. Plus, I'm going to have been properly trained for the New York race. So again, hopefully finish in 4 hours, 15 minutes. As long as I'm under 4:30, I will be incredibly happy. just because I want to do faster than what I did last time. And by last time, I mean the last marathon that I did, which would have been the first marathon that I did. But again, goal time, 4 hours, 15 minutes on that. And that leads me to talk about another race. I'm actually doing a race tomorrow that I wasn't really planning to do, but then I was trying to figure out when exactly I was going to run because I've got some plans, and oh, well, there's a race like 2 towns away. I, according to my race training, need 7 miles. This is a 10K. I can pick up another mile on Friday or Sunday or Monday. So, yeah, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it. So, sort of spur of the moment, signed up for a 10K tomorrow. And I signed up for that yesterday. So, yeah, that's one of the things that I have planned for the weekend is to run a 10K. And I'm not necessarily going to try racing the race. And I realize that might sound incredibly strange to non-runners. Like, why would you sign up for a race and then not race the race? Well, I'm doing it as a training run, and I'm just going to go out and run and, not try to strain myself and just have fun and enjoy the race, because that's really what it's all about, right? Is go out, enjoy it. And if you're not enjoying the race and you're not enjoying doing what you're doing, then you probably should not be doing that thing, right? And that leads me into the topic that I want to talk about. Article from active.com. I'll jump into here in moments on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. It's already been an extraordinary year for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the past 12 months than in any year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals for the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have recently joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have been exonerated and reunited with their families in 2018 already, and your support now will help build on the incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Now, before I jump into the article from active.com, I want to make sure that I tell you about a website that you should definitely bookmark, especially if you are an advocate for free market money and you use Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Talking about SpendAbit. SpendAbit is the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. SpendAbit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin-accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. Spendabit.fppradio.com. So, article from active.com. Headline, I'll never qualify for Boston, but here's why I keep trying. The author of this article, Ali Nolan, or could be Ali, not entirely positive, spelled A-L-I, which could be either. The featured image is a woman, so I'm going to guess Ali, but again, could be either one. Article begins. It happens every April. Marathon Monday comes rolling around. Marathon Monday, by the way, has 2 very distinct meanings. very different meanings as well. So Marathon Monday, for people that are fans of Boston, know that Marathon Monday is the day that the Boston Marathon is run. Fans of the New York City Marathon, or those running the New York City Marathon, know that Marathon Monday is the day after the New York City Marathon, where you're able to get the sweet, sweet finisher's gear. But in this case, they're talking about Boston. Marathon Monday comes rolling around. The author says, and I watched the elites line up on Boylston Street. I don't know why I feel such a strong connection to the Boston Marathon. I'm not from Boston. I've only been there twice, but the race always grabs a hold of me and reminds me of why I run and how much I love the sport. I know a lot of runners who feel the same way. We're not quite racing snobs, but we're still enthusiastic about the elite field. We geek out over the stats. We chat about the women who made history on the course. She then adds, looking at you, Bobby Gibb and Catherine Schweitzer. And we can easily name the winners of the past 5 years. So suffice it to say, this is our Super Bowl and our March Madness. Yes, I know the Boston Marathon's in April, but she's using metaphors here. Continuing on, she says, last year I went to Boston to cover the marathon for the first time. I was training to break 150 in the half marathon and was about 3 weeks away from my goal race. That weekend I cheered on people at the BAA 5K, that's the Boston Athletic Association 5K, and stole a spare hour to run along the Charles River. As I ran near the sparkling waters on an unseasonably warm day, passing runners warming up, including elites like Jared Ward and Meb, I realized that my obsession with the Boston Marathon might seem strange to a lot of people, since there's a good chance I will never run the race myself. Just how far away from a Boston qualifier am I? She says a woman my age needs to run about 2 minutes faster than the 3:35 standard. In 2016, I ran 4 hours, 1 minute, 50 seconds. In February, I completed a half marathon that I neglected to train for by running 30 seconds and walking 30 seconds, and finished well over 5 hours. So even if I were in my best shape, I'd have to shave more than 30 minutes off my time to even think about getting a bib. I would need to possess the ability to run at an 8:15 pace for 26.2 miles. To expect my problematic joints to put up with that kind of training, while also maintaining a full-time job, a family, and a life outside of running, that's just too much. She says I can deal with the fact that it's just not going to happen. It's okay to be realistic. And I want to pause here for a moment to say that there are some people that like to deny reality, or they like to sort of pretend that being realistic is somehow being negative, especially in the field of electoral politics, where I have heard people say, especially in regards to, my statement of, yeah, I'm voting for this person. I know they're not going to win, but I'm still voting for this person. I've heard, well, not with that attitude. No. It's not my attitude. It's the fact. Like, I know that the chances of the libertarian candidate that I vote for winning is very, very slim. Their chances aren't slim because I'm admitting reality. Their chances are slim because that is the reality. Now, there are all kinds of debates about the wasted vote syndrome, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, and the form of electoral politics and elections that we have in this country completely need to change. But it's okay to admit reality. Your particular vote, the chances that it will affect the outcome of the election is very close to zero, which means, statistically speaking, your vote doesn't count. I'm not encouraging you necessarily to not vote or to vote. Just admit the reality. Continuing on, she says, at the end of the day, the numbers on the clock at the end of 26.2 miles are meaningless, right? If you simply look around at the other people on the course, That's the magic of running, knowing that your two legs got you to the finish line. What further than most people will ever go, that is the true accomplishment. And there's more.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
Why do they hate us? Is libertarianism compatible with Islam? Davi Barker answers these questions and more in Voluntary Islam and Other Essays. He advances the voluntarist cause with analysis of the confluence of values between Islam and libertarianism, as well as contemporary movements from the Tea Party to the Arab Spring. Voluntary Islam by Davi Barker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry, online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. I'll jump back into this article, and yes, I realize I'm not going to be able to get through the entire thing, but before I get back into it, I want to make sure that I tell you about Zencash. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. And the Zencash official wallet is available for multiple platforms in multiple languages. We're talking Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Zencash.com. Jumping back into the article, and again, going to try getting through as much of this as possible. Again, the numbers on the clock after running a marathon, kind of meaningless, right? Again, just look around at all of the other people that were out there with you. That is the magic of running, knowing that your two legs got you to the finish line and that you ran further than most people ever will. That is the true accomplishment. She continues, but even though I've accepted my fate as an average runner, I still want to reach for that Boston qualifier goal. I can't just be happy finishing, even though I know I will continue to be disappointed. Why? Well, besides the fact that Boston is the holy grail of marathons, I know if I continue to challenge myself to meet a standard that fast, I will continue to improve. It's a carrot, something I will continue to chase and will likely never reach, but it keeps me going. I will do it safely. Of course, that's where the logical side comes in, and I have to remind myself that my body doesn't like training runs over 15 miles, and that my strength as a runner is in hills, trails, and power 5Ks. Training for longer distances with intention helps me succeed in those other areas. But, more than anything, I simply love the marathon distance. She says joining forces with the herds of other runners who treat the BQ as an ultimate goal makes me part of a community that is bigger than myself. And though we may never get that BQ being Boston qualifier, we're having a lot of fun trying. That's what running for me is all about. And again, that's the author's perspective. My perspective is, I don't really care about getting a Boston qualifying time. What I want to do is to continue pushing my own limits, to see what I can do, how far I can go. That is why I have already penciled into my race calendar for next year, 2019, the Ghost Train 100-mile Ultra Marathon. I'll be back next Friday answering your questions. Send those over ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Though Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. Love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.